Hello. Hi, Dan. How are you
Hello,
doing?
how are we?
I'm
All
good.
good, all good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this evening's final live stream of the Manchester International Swim Meet. I'm your host, Scott. This is Propulsion Swimming. This is my co-host, Dan. How are you doing, Dan?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. How's things this weekend?
It's got warmer, but it's got a lot wetter now.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've just finished watching the rugby, and it looked like it was raining, bucketing down. But yes. At least swimming is an indoor sport, especially in this country.
Yeah. So if you haven't joined us for the past few days, the idea of this live stream is we are providing you guys at home with an alternate commentary to the one that is provided by British Swimming. And we are giving our live reactions to some amazing British swimming because basically it's so good to see British swimming in the pool again. We love talking about swimming. We would have been chatting on the phone anyway during this. So why not broadcast to you guys at home our reactions and our thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole idea, to give our opinions about each race, each swimmer. Of course, from the people watching, if you could put your comments below, any questions, how you thought the race went, etc., then do leave a comment and we'll get back to you, of course.
Yeah, so the whole idea of this is we can have a chat with you guys at home. We can answer your comments, your questions as we go along, as you watch the meet alongside us. So obviously, we don't have permission to share the stream ourselves of British Swimming's event. And I think it might destroy my Wi-Fi, as I say every day, but we'll never know until we're allowed permission to share it. So the idea is you have their live stream on and you have us chatting away in the background as well, as kind of something a little bit different for everyone.
I think we're not the professional commentators that you'd probably hear on
No.
the normal sport broadcasters, but I think it's something a little bit different, something that swimming probably hasn't even had before. So spice it up a little bit.
Yeah. So we thought we'd try something different at this meet. And then if you guys listening and watching think it's successful, you enjoy us doing it, then it's something we'll look at doing for basically any British meet. So that includes British trials, the Olympics. We'll chat along with you guys at home.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately the plan. Hopefully, fingers crossed, trials happen, and we say this every time we come on live.
We do.
And I do, based on how well this meet's gone, I do think it will actually take place. It's going to be COVID procedures, obviously, but hopefully it will take place, and hopefully there'll be a bigger array of swimmers as well. That would be nice.
I mean, me and Dan have both applied to hopefully go and cover the kind of the live swimming itself at British trials. We've booked hotel rooms, everything like that. So if it does go ahead, brilliant. We can be there. We can hopefully do this from poolside. That would be amazing.
How nice would that be? Yeah.
If it goes ahead kind of like the swimming is right now, then we will just be at home doing this and speaking to you guys as we go.
Yes, yeah. Well, we've got the first swimmers walking out for their final. We've got the men's 400 IM to start off with.
We do, and we have the British record holder in the water to start.
We do. Max Lichfield is the headline act, if you like, for this final. He takes lane 4. Only 4 swimmers in this race, actually.
5.
Is there 5? Are you sure?
5 swimmers.
I've got 4 written on mine here.
Well, we'll find out in a second.
Oh, I'm sure we'll find out. But anyway, Max is in the water, and I would have thought he would be taking this out from the front and just finishing it in front as well.
Yeah, I think what you'll find isn't going to be a very even race the whole way through. 400 IMs are never like that. It is always kind of a split up field. But this is even more so with all the field is basically separated by 4 seconds per swimmer on paper.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, give or take. So of course Max swam this morning. I was right, 4 swimmers. There you go.
Were. I apologize.
So Max, he swam this morning a 4:23, although his record is 4:09, so he is a long way off that. I don't expect him to go anywhere near that time, but no. I do hope he's going to go in the teens, like the 4:18, 4:19, somewhere around that region. That's pretty good going. 10 seconds off his PB would be pretty decent. But someone to look out for.
Oh, go on.
Sorry, someone to look out for would be Jacob Greenow. He's actually swam quite well this weekend. So expect good things from him.
Yes, so his PB's 4:20. So we're looking for anything below that in terms of his result.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty hard doing, but we'll see how it goes, I think.
Yeah, I think what we have found during a lot of the events today, or especially the heats this morning, is that a lot of the swimmers look like they're quite fatigued.
Yeah.
They're kind of, it's been a heavy meet, even though there doesn't seem like they've had too much racing on. There has been a lot of races, and they've also not had much rest because there's not many swimmers.
And I think that's the main issue, actually, is that they are literally racing. When we say back to back, normally there's like a half hour, maybe 45 minutes in between each race, but this has literally been 5-10 minutes. So they haven't had any, or I imagine they've barely had any swim down between these races. So the lactic is just pooling in their muscles, making them very heavy, fatiguing them as much, quite a lot. And actually, we've seen quite a lot of swimmers pulled out of races, probably because of that. So
they've reached kind of the end. I mean, if anyone follows Jimmy Guy on Twitter, he was speaking last night that actually they're only given a very small amount of time to warm up. So I would have presumed that is because of COVID restrictions. There's only so many people they can have in the warm-up pool, so they're given this allotted time, which is quite small compared to usual meets where the pool is open the whole time.
Yes, yeah. I mean, normally for the bigger meets, when you go to even districts or higher, really, you've got at least an hour warm up.
And there's always a pool open, isn't there?
Yeah, so if you go to Ponds Forge in Sheffield, there's a diving pit, which is 25 meters across. So, I mean, there's plenty of space to do warm-ups and cool-downs, which obviously isn't an option at this meet, unfortunately. But they have to deal with it somehow, unfortunately.
Well, at least there's racing going on.
Yes, I think if you are to ask every swimmer, they would be happy that this is the measures in place, and so they'd bite your arm off to do a race anyway.
Okay, so if we go back to the 400 IM, we have hit the halfway mark.
Yes.
And as expected, Max Litchfield is ahead. So are the butterfly and the backstroke legs his strongest legs?
He's actually quite an all-round swimmer, I'd say. His breaststroke is actually pretty good. He's obviously very strong at the fly. He swam the 200 fly yesterday, I think it was. Was it yesterday against Jimmy Guy? That's right, he did. So strong at fly. I don't think he's got a weaker stroke, actually. He's
very versatile British swimmer, isn't he?
He is, yes. He doesn't really have a weak stroke, so that's probably the reason why he's British record holder for this event.
I mean, he is for the 200 IM as well, I believe.
I think so. I haven't checked any of those British records, to be fair, because I'm not expecting any to fall. But if they do, then happy days. I mean, Molly Renshaw did. Wasn't expecting that at all. So yes, all-round swimmer, which is great, actually.
And he pulled out of the 200 freestyle, which is later on in the session, didn't he?
He did. Again, maybe he's concentrating for this race now. Again, it could just be a fatigue, because going from a 400 IM, then going into the 200 free, not easy at all. I mean, 400 IM is it the hardest race in swimming? Not sure, actually.
It's up there.
It's a good question. Maybe our viewers can answer that. What is the hardest event in swimming? 400 IM is definitely up there. But to follow that up with a 200 free is not comfortable at all. So maybe that's the reason why. I mean, he's taking it out here. He's taking it out.
The 200 free later on is a stacked field as well. It's one that you're really looking forward to, aren't you?
It's one of my races to look forward to. Yes, a 200 free and then a women's 100 free as well. That's they're the biggest races I'm looking forward to. Yeah. Jacob Greenow doing quite well here, as I thought he would do. But Charlie Hutchinson also, didn't mention him at the start. Only 19 years old. He's having a very good swim to keep up with Jacob.
So we're
what time
closing into the last 50 meters now. British swimming feed. The clock seems to have failed us, so we have no idea what sort of time he's going until he's hit the wall.
These graphics are a nightmare, aren't they? They always take a while to get going.
4:16.
He's in the teens.
Yeah,
that's very good going. Yeah, that's good going. So he was obviously saving himself for this race. That's the reason why he put out the 200.
Yeah,
and actually, Charlie Hutchinson's touched ahead of him. Good.
Yeah, he had a very good last 50, and all swimmers have actually bettered their times from this morning, which isn't kind of a surprise really when you look at doing a 400 IM when you know you're making the final. I probably would have taken my foot off the gas slightly.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the 400 IMs earlier, and I wouldn't say they weren't pushing it. They looked comfortable, fast but comfortable. One of those sort of swims, a feeling out process maybe. But good swims from all of them, I think. There, as you say, all underneath their times from this morning, and you can't ask for much more.
The next event is a full lineup. It's a full field. There aren't many of them today because, like we said, there's a few swimmers who have pulled out. And it's going to be a very close race, I think. The women's 100 butterfly.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a mixture of different distances in butterfly here. So we've got Laura Stevens, who is more predominantly based for the 200 fly. You've got Harriet Jones and Harriet West, who are pretty good at the 50s, although they are able to do the 100s. So it might be, yeah. I expect Louise Hansen to kind of disappear into the sunset.
Yeah, I mean, she is kind of the pedigree of the field. She's Swedish. She's not a British national. She trains, I believe, at Loughborough. I think they've got a few international swimmers there.
I think so,
which
yes.
is the reason she's able to race at this meet. But in terms of the Brits, there's, 4 of them who have gone a 158 high. So it could be a very level field between lanes 2 and 6.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain about that. Sophie Freeman, she pulled out of, I can't remember what race it was, but she pulled out
We were
of
talking about this before, weren't we?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I didn't check, but she pulled out of a race this morning as well, maybe to concentrate on this race. Never discount an outside burner. Outside burners, and so the people that don't know, outside burners are lane 1 and lane 8, who take it out from the beginning and then just hold on because the middle lanes can't see them.
Yes.
We've seen many Olympic medals won from the outside lane.
I think the women's 100 free at Rio was an example of that. Simone Manuel was in the outside lane, wasn't she?
One of the outside lanes, I think it was like 2 or something like that. But one of the outside lanes, so that's classified as an outside burner. So potentially, Sophie Freeman, she does look a little bit tired. So I wonder, this will be her last race, so maybe she'll have the adrenaline to finish off this meet strongly.
I mean, she is only 17 as well.
Yes, she is. Yeah,
would have been a long, hard meet for her.
There was a PB from Harriet Jones, who was a Cardiff swimmer. She's actually doing really well at the moment. So if she can better the time that she swam this morning, it's a brand new PB, lifetime best. So fingers crossed that she does really well there. Harriet West is also hopefully going to go under 60 seconds. I'm not sure what her PB is though.
PB is 58.6.
Okay. So well, fingers crossed. Hopefully everyone goes under 60 seconds. It's a good old
barrier. You're looking under 60 seconds now for hopefully the whole field. There's 2 of them who are just over their PBs, but like we said, under 60 seconds is the target.
It's almost like the barrier for women's 100 fly, really.
Yeah.
It's a bit like when do you remember when 100 breaststroke for men's was the minute barrier was the target?
That's gone a long time ago now.
That's gone now. That's gone. That seems to be like the prerequisite to make the final. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, swimmers are getting faster, bigger, stronger. Nutrition's getting better. So can only expect times to go one way, I suppose. But there must be a limit for when you can't go any quicker. But we're not.
That's a fun debate to have.
I know it is. Yeah.
Okay, so we're expecting Louise Hansen to kind of pull away as the pedigree of the field, and then it's kind of a fight between the rest of the British athletes.
I would say something along those lines. Yes. I'm interested to see what Laura Stevens does because she's more known as a 200 flyer. She's actually gone out she's gone out with the leaders actually. I was fully expecting her to come back strongly on the last 50, which you still will, obviously. So watch out for her on the last 50 meters. But it's Harriet Jones. Yeah, she was looking good. I think she also PB'd in the 50 fly as well.
So she's got that front end speed.
Yes, yeah. It's just whether she holds on. But the technique is very good. You can see the high hips, probably the highest hips out of the whole field, I'd say, potentially, maybe. But doesn't breathe every stroke. It's every other stroke, which helps with the body position and keeps you more streamlined in the water. And she's giving Louise a good old race here.
Yeah, I thought Louise Hansen had just pulled away, but she seems to be tying up slightly towards the end. Oh, a long glide. 57.8.
No breathing last 5 meters.
And there we go. Four swimmers under the 60-second mark.
Yeah, that's good. And Harriet Jones got a PB there by 0.2.
She has got a PB, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
0.3.
0.3. That's pretty good going, isn't it? But that's exactly what we wanted there, yeah?
Yeah.
Everyone under, well, not everyone, but near enough everyone under the 60-minute mark, 60-second mark. Oh, Emily Large just missing out. What did Emily Large do this morning? Minute 0.5.
Minute 0.5, yeah.
Slightly under. That's good. I mean, Holly Hibbert was in the race, not known for a fly at all. She's more the middle distance freestyle.
So she improved her time this morning, but just missed out on her PB.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. I mean, it's quite good that other swimmers are trying out different events. I think it's literally just to get their eye back in the water. try and find that reaction off the block again, because you do lose that sharpness, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And while we're speaking about new swimmers trying new events, it looks like no one's tried that for the 50 fly, which is next. Oh, wait, no. Is there a para race in between?
Yes,
There
but
is, yes.
So it's just the one swimmer. We've got Casey Crowhurst going for the 50 fly. But yes, the men's 50 fly, I mean, this morning was literally, it was just a straight head-to-head between Jacob Peters and Tom Dean. Tom Dean has decided to pull out, probably to focus on the 200 free. But I don't really understand that, because 50 meters, you can quickly recover from that. In my opinion, I don't know if that's true. You're a sprinter. How quickly do you recover from a 50-meter swim?
I think it probably takes more out of you than you realize. It might just be that it affects his focus for the 200 free.
Possibly.
That makes sense. He's got to concentrate on another race, and the 200 free, it is going to be a big head-to-head later on with, I think, him and James Guy.
I would have thought so. I mean, he looks very comfortable, Jimmy Guy, this morning. He only went 150 point something. Very, very steady. He actually almost let Joe Litchfield win. That's how it looks. He took the speed off, the gas, whatever. Went a lot slower the last 25 meters and just cruised to the end. So I do expect him to go a lot quicker later on. But that's later on. I've got the 100 fly
is coming up.
Yes. When we're looking, so it's an S13 swimmer in Casey Crowhurst. British record, if you wanted to know, is 106.61.
So she was some way off that this morning.
Some way off it. 119 she went this morning. But it's such a shame that there's only one swimmer.
Yeah.
I've never had that experience. Have you had that experience where it's just you in the water swimming or racing against yourself?
Just time trial, isn't it, then?
Yeah, it's effectively a time trial. Yeah. Glorified time trial, which is a shame. Even if you just get another swimmer just to swim next to her doing front crawl, just a pacer or something, just to help her out. But as it is, it's just her in the water. But never mind.
I mean, we struggled yesterday explaining the para swimming, didn't we? Kind of the scoring system. Now, we have had contact from several world champions.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
For para swimming, who are going to be on the Propulsion Swimming podcast in the coming weeks to help us kind of explain that scoring system and get our heads around it. So if anyone is interested in listening to that, make sure you tune in.
Yes, well, the plan is to be doing that within 2 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks. That would be quite nice. We've got plenty. I think that we had 2 messages, and we had one in mind anyway that we were going to do.
Yeah.
And it's just all fallen into place, which is quite nice. And we need this knowledge of para points, because I feel bad that I don't know, whereas we should be advertising and promoting.
You are the expert.
Para swimming. I'm not the expert of para swimming, but I should know. We should both know, really.
We should.
But we'll get there, hopefully. Hopefully, fingers crossed that we get a good guest on, and they can explain very clearly and very, to us,
succinctly is what we're looking for.
Yes, nice and simple. Yes, yeah. So Katie's doing quite well here.
God, I can't imagine racing a race by myself.
It's difficult, isn't it? It is difficult. Yeah. She breathing every other stroke, which is good. You don't want to be breathing every stroke. You don't want to be copying what Phelps does, because he, like we said yesterday, is double jointed all over his body, and so his hips don't sink whenever he breathes. So he's one of those. He's not human, basically. So there's no point trying to copy what he can do. I'm talking about Phelps, yeah. So 120.74, so slightly out from this morning. But again, I just reckon that's because there's no one in the water to push her on.
No, this morning's racing, was she in a heat with the able-bodied athletes?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that probably could have dragged her along a little bit more at the start.
Yeah. And it makes a huge difference. Adam Peacey went for 100 split this morning in a 200 breaststroke.
By himself, yeah.
And of course, I mean, he swims by himself anyway, let's face it. But because he was very much by himself, he only split at 59, which to other swimmers is absolutely incredible. But to him, that is bang average. Average. And that's because they swim by himself. Sarah Vasey did the same thing. She got 100 split, didn't she, in the 200 breaststroke when the women were doing it. And the times just aren't the same. I remember doing a split once. I was trying to get my 100 national time in the 200 meter final.
Right.
And it just doesn't work. I had
No,
a
I
bit of a,
mean, there's a reason no world records are set when you're swimming by yourself. You need that competition, don't you?
you do. And I felt in the back of my head, I was kind of thinking I shouldn't be doing this because it's a 200 free.
Mm.
But I'm going to be stopping halfway and then just plodding the rest of the way. So it feels like all eyes are on me, and then that pressure sort of builds inside. This is how I felt. I don't know how other people
Right.
feel.
Okay.
But and then the time just didn't happen, and you feel quite bad because the other swimmers are turning pretty much right next to you, like 2 seconds. You think, oh god, that time wasn't very good, but that was me. I mean,
So you never got that national time then?
no, that's when they changed it, and I was more suited to 2 and 4.
Mm.
I think it was that 1 year, and then I went to Cardiff and managed to get all of them. But I was more concentrating on the 2 and 4 in the end. But yeah, there's
Okay,
that
so
story for you.
we do have another empty field here. Like we said before, Jacob Peters going in the 50 meters butterfly. Now, this morning he was very close to his personal best.
Yeah, he actually swam that really well.
Yeah, but he had Tom Dean alongside him.
I wouldn't say a mistake because he didn't really do a mistake. He just looked slow off the block because Tom Dean was so quick off the block.
Right.
So
Okay.
if that reaction can be a little bit more snappier,
Mm-hmm.
then we're looking pretty good for a PB here because his underwater work was great. I think he took maybe 1 or 2 breaths. So if he can do the whole length without breathing, that would be perfect. But again, we've got the same problem here of no competition. But at the same time, you did 50 fly. You don't breathe. You don't really see anyone anyway, do you? If your face is in the water.
You don't. So there's, again, it might be like you said, there's kind of more eyes on him, which is the pressure, rather than racing against someone. So you're more likely to feel the pressures, slip the water. That would be the problem here. I mean, it would be good if the current British record holder was here. I would love to see what kind of state he's in at racing, Ben Proud, because he's a good second faster. But again, we haven't really seen him race competitively for probably close to 2 years on form.
Yeah, I'm really surprised because he didn't do anything at ISL, really. I think he did do some races, mainly in the relays. But of course, when relays are happening, you're just concentrating on the leaders, really, not concentrating on the outside lanes or anything. But yeah, it is a shame. Jacob Peters is a good swimmer.
Okay, so he's got to go faster than 23.74 to get a new PB. So let's see. Is that a better start for you?
I think so. High hips, both on the start and on the entry.
Good underwater phase all the way to 15.
Exactly to 15. No breath yet. High hips. He's got a nice long stroke, isn't he? I wouldn't say he's got the quickest stroke rate, or his one breath there.
It's very long.
So if you imagine Sarah Social doing it, her arms are motoring around, so not quite as quick as that. But because of the stroke length, 23.6. Oh, he did get a PB.
He has got a PB. So that's all you can ask. He's in an empty field, PB, and he's got some perfect footage now to analyze his stroke.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah. And I think that's because he fixed his start.
Yeah.
Just that little change. So what did he do this morning? 23.9, and he's just gone 23.6. That 0.3 just from having slightly quicker reactions, higher hips on the block and high hips on the entry. Much better. Awesome swim.
I think there's still a little bit room for improvement there going off his finish as well. He didn't quite spot it on a full stroke.
True, and he did one breath as well. So if you add all these little elements up, that would probably be another 0.1, 0.2.
Yeah.
So then suddenly looking at 23.5, then you're looking, whoa, really top class swim then.
Yeah, kind of. The British record is 22.7.
Oh yeah, but how old's Jacob? 21. I mean, he's 21. I don't know how old is Ben Proud?
He's 21.
Ben Proud is 21 as well.
Jacob Peters is 21. I'm not sure about Ben Proud.
Yeah,
he feels like he's been around for a very long time, but I think he might be younger than most people think.
So there's no para swimmers in the 50 fly, so we're going straight onto the 200 backstroke, which unfortunately
another
again
empty field.
It's such a shame.
It is, but again, we can't complain too much. There's racing on. Let's be happy with what we're given. It could be a very close race.
Well, there were 3 swimmers this morning.
Yeah.
And that means one has pulled out. So Sophie Freeman has pulled out.
There you go. There's the one you were looking for.
I generally, true, yeah. I generally think she's just fatigued. She's just really tired at the moment. And who can blame her? She has been doing the longer races. Did she do all the IMs? I'm pretty sure she did all the IMs.
Yeah, I mean, these races are
distance
very close
freestyle.
together as well in the schedule, aren't they?
Oh, they are very close. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to schedule it. You can't. There's no perfect schedule out there. You can't. Not going to suit every single summer, but they've got
No.
to do some sort of schedule.
Yeah.
But if we look at the summers, then someone who's impressed me actually is Honey Osrin of Plymouth Leander.
Yeah, only 18.
Yeah, only 18. She's actually been competing really well. She's been what was a race that she did really well on? Was it the 100 back where she was sort of really was it keeping up with Georgia quite nicely? So yeah, Plymouth have always produced backstrokers, I find. Do you remember back when we were swimming? And they've just had this awesome array of backstrokers. It wasn't just the one in the single age group. It was just right the way through. Men, male and female. Yeah, Sam Strawn.
Yeah, there's loads of them.
They all start at Plymouth, and then they go up to Loughborough.
Yeah, they do. that is the theme, isn't it?
But yes, and then Chloe Golding, I'm pretty sure she swam the 800. Let me double check that.
So her PB is faster.
No, it was Leah.
So she's got to go at 2:09 to get near her PB, and Honey's PB is 2:10. So again, it could be a close field. So it could be a nice head-to-head.
Yes, and that's pretty much all you can ask for. It's amazing the difference you get having one person next to you, and I think having a head-to-head does make you spurs you on that a little bit more rather than having the 8 in the water.
Yeah, it's almost like a practice for in case a time trial occurs, and that's where obviously two swimmers have the exact same time in the heats, and they have to swim off again for the semi-final or final. So it's kind of good practice for that, because that's a very rare occurrence that would happen.
Very rare, and I'm very lucky to have never been in that situation.
No.
But of course, it's very rare that you have that for 200, 400 or higher distances. But for the 50s, it's a little bit more regular. I wouldn't expect it for this 200 backstroke to be finishing at the same time.
No, but it is good practice for them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes. I just think the more we race, the better we get. That's just it put simply. We were talking about it loads at the ISL, how they all started off relatively average. And then towards the end, the semis and the finals, suddenly the world records just tumbled. Yeah, and everyone was hitting lifetime bests. And hopefully it'll be the same for these guys. So if they're racing,
you'd almost hope that in like 2 or 3 weeks' time there was another event that we all knew about that was on the horizon that these swimmers could then race again for.
Well, I mean, if trials are in April, where are we now? Mid-February. It's only 2 months away. I say only. In my opinion, we should be racing every other week as a minimum.
I agree.
That's my opinion. But
I mean, you only have to look at the American system, don't you? And the NCAAs, where there seems to be meets on all the time. Even during COVID, my Twitter feed is full of these Julie in the Pool style meets between the universities.
Oh yeah, it's like varsity swimming over here is essentially what it is. And these,
it's not big over here though.
No, I went to America for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long it was, and the person I was seeing swam 4 times in the 4 weeks every weekend. And then
you would love that, wouldn't you?
I would have loved it. Absolutely. I'd be knackered. But it's great for sprinters. I mean, you only have to look at Kira Tasson, Caleb Dressel during the ISL and then even after hitting times, left, right, and center. Awesome. So this is a tight race, actually. You were quite right.
I did think it would be. I thought Chloe might edge it, but it doesn't look like it's going to go that way.
No, well, I did say Honey's swimming very well this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's racing again later on. Is she doing 100 free?
No, this is it.
It's the last one.
Yep. I'll tell you what, that's a cracking underwater.
So you might as well go all out. And actually, Chloe's catching up here.
Yeah, that was a great last turn.
So it's all about trying to keep the technique. It's very similar to butterfly, where if your technique or your form starts to deteriorate, then other people will catch you up. So you see Chloe's got a much better rotation still at the moment, and that's the reason why she is catching up very slowly and may even get her at the end.
I don't think she's quite got enough pull.
No, not quite. No. But she was catching with every stroke. Honey, 2:13.1, slightly quicker, 0.7 quicker.
Yeah, so both improved on their times earlier, but still probably a long way short of their PBs.
Yeah, I mean, that's rustiness for you.
And lack of competition.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
if you had
the 8 best swimmers in the country in that pool, there's a little bit. I mean, I was looking at British swimming, and they were saying that so many people have won golds, and you think, well, these medals are kind of irrelevant for this competition. I haven't even looked at the medals, who's won, who's not. I'm not interested in it because I just think it's pointless. You just see the rustiness disappearing. That's fine. And then if they get anywhere near their PBs, then they've done very, very well.
Yeah, it's all about kind of race skills, isn't it?
Effectively, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, what's next?
Next up is the men's 100 meters backstroke. And this could be a very good race, because going into it, they were all, bar Luke Greenbank, they were all separated by just over a second.
Yeah, and I do think I was quite happy with Greenbank's swim, actually. I do think he's going to go slightly quicker, maybe 54.6, something along those lines. So I do expect him to be maybe half a body length ahead of everyone else. But that probably shouldn't be our focus. It should be the other swimmers around him. And like you said, there's a difference of, what was it, 0.2, like you said, 0.3? Oh, no, sorry.
A second.
Oh, a second, yes. Yes, so I'm looking at two different times. A second. So, yeah, if we can get a blanket finish, it's always exciting. When there's drama going on, it's always good when that happens.
Yeah, so far it's been a bit of a flat start to this evening session, hasn't it?
Oh man, it's been tough, actually. It's been tough to talk about it because there's only been a very few swimmers to talk about.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can say. But now we've got a full field. Much better to talk about. Brody Williams is a dark horse in this. He could be the outside burner that I was talking about earlier.
So he has the second fastest PB in the pool.
Yeah. I think we should just ignore Luke Greenbank. Although, actually, no. If you do want to check out Luke Greenbank's underwater, especially off the turn, that is one of the best in the country right now. Him and Joe Litchfield are the two best underwater backstroke.
I was going to say, the Twitter feed this morning, all I saw was you posting about Joe Litchfield's start and his underwater. That's all you were talking about.
You wait until the what is it? Is he entered the 200 free final?
He has, yeah.
Good, yeah. If you wait till you see that start, then, because oh my, he will leave them behind after the first 15 meters, and then invariably, if you're first to 15, you're first to 25, and then he just gets into a momentum, and then he's first to the 50-meter mark. It's just whether he holds on. That's the thing.
So Luke Greenbank's PB is 53.7, and he's kind of, I know you said don't pay attention to him, but he is a key cog in the GB's medley relay, because we have a really strong chance at a medal in that event. And for years, we've been searching for a backstroker, haven't we? And it looks like he's slowly coming into form and taking over that role now.
I would say that we guaranteed a medal. Is that a big statement?
Punchy.
Is that a big statement? We're guaranteed a medal for the 4x1 medley just because we've got PT. I mean, that's such a huge plus point. We've got Jimmy and we've got Duncan as well at the end. But you're right. We just need a backstroker, and Luke at the moment is filling that role very, very nicely. But of course, he's got to try and compete against Ryan Murphy, who is a world record holder for this race. So, I mean, if he can keep up with him, then we're in pretty decent shape.
Yeah, you'd hope his PB could maybe come down to the 52s.
Ideally, yes, yeah, but I would be putting him as more of a 200 backstroker.
Yes, I know, but I'm talking for the 4x1 is kind of a key event for British swimming.
Yes, yeah. So it's good that these swimmers are coming through. All of them are. I mean, a majority of this in the pool is 2022. So of course, maybe Tokyo isn't their target Olympics. Then it would be in Paris 3 years time now. We've had a good turn from Brody Williams. I did say he was going well. It's amazing how form goes with you all the time. But do expect Luke Greenbank to, he's charging now.
Well, as you said, he's a 200 swimmer, so he has this back end kind of endurance in the last 15, 25 meters of a 100-meter race.
Yes, yeah. And actually, you can see the stroke rates are so high now just because he's trying to change gears. He's probably not even in top gear right now because he needs that extra 100 meters to get going again. What's the time? 54.6. My God, my prediction came true again. I need to get a lottery ticket.
So it's gone a little bit faster, but it's not quite the pace that we'd be expecting come Olympics time.
Not yet, but of course, if he was going that time now, I'd be a little bit worried, quite frankly.
Well, he is one of the very few who have already guaranteed their place on the Tokyo team. So as we said yesterday in our live stream, it's kind of him. He would definitely be training through this meet. There is no way he's rested at all. His training would have carried on. He may have even done a hard set this morning.
Oh, quite
if we're
possibly.
thinking about it.
There's no point tapering. He might
No.
taper slightly for trials, but he's already qualified, so he doesn't need to do a full taper.
No.
Of course, he needs recovery weeks. Some points you can't go all out and up until July time. You're going to have some recovery phases in there, but he doesn't need to do any proper tapering really because he's already guaranteed a spot.
Definitely.
So yes, but I'm pretty that Brody Williams swim. That's a pretty good swim. I don't know if that's his PB, but it's a good second
No, his
quicker than
PB
this
is a
morning.
54.2.
54.2. Okay.
Yeah.
Still a good swim. Probably a prospect for the future, actually. Coming out of Bath. So
yeah.
And actually, so's Jonathan Adam, who's even younger, who's 19. So Bath are producing some backstrokers there.
Yeah.
Which is good to see.
Okay, so we're back on to the para swimmers. This is your specialty right now.
Is it? This is my specialty, is it?
Well, you've done the research for it, and I would say one of the informed swimmers of the meet is now in the water.
Yes, yeah. Well, if I go through the British records, so what do we do? I'm doing on a backstroke. So we've got an S9 swimmer in Jacob Leach. The British record is 63.3. He went 69 this morning, so slightly off. He doesn't. That's not his British record, but the British records for S14 does belong to Jordan Catchpole.
Okay.
It's a good record. I mean, I think this is the sort of time I swam. 101.71 is his record. He went 1:05 this morning. But actually, Rhys Davis, who's also in S14, went quicker than Jordan this morning. So he should expect a good competitive race here because Jacob Leach is also very quick. 1:09 he went this morning. So it might be a very close race.
I tell you what, we've got ahead of ourselves. There's a break now for some reason.
What?
Very early on in the day.
That's how quickly they've gone, you see.
Yeah, I mean, when there's no one racing, that's what happens. Okay, so what we'll do for the next 5-10 minutes, if anyone has any questions watching the live feed about British swimming, the world of swimming, I don't know, you want to ask who our favorite swimmers are right now, who we expect to win certain events, we'll open up the floor for the next 5-10 minutes, and then we will take a break ourselves and we will come back when the next finals are due. So if you have any questions for us, let us know in the comment section in the chat and we will answer them.
Perfect. Let's do it.
This is when no one comments at all.
Yeah, I know. Then we'll have to ask each other questions. Okay, cool.
Okay, first question. We've not been left hanging too long.
No, thank
Your
God.
fave UK pool to race in?
Oh,
it's tough.
You know what? I've never swam at Manchester. Never swam there.
I've watched swimming. No, I haven't raced there either.
I've heard that Manchester is a very nice pool to swim in. Favorite pool to swim in? I can tell you now, it's definitely not Millfield. Definitely not Millfield. No, it's so slow. Very slow.
Only swimmers say a pool is slow.
It depends. My favorite 50-meter pool probably is Ponds Forge. Actually, that's where my best swims are. My best memories are. Short course. I don't know about you, but GR1 is pretty good in Gloucester, where we're both from.
I was going to say that's our home pool. That's kind of easy to say. I've swam at the Olympic pool.
Yes, yeah.
That's very, very nice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very nice.
But obviously, it's a brand new pool. It was the Olympic pool. That's kind of what you expect. But while I was racing, Sheffield was my favorite pool, quite comfortably actually.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't swam at Cardiff. I swam in Cardiff, but it's one of those things where if you train in the pool, and you race in it, it just doesn't quite. It's a training pool in my head.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to shift that mentality, isn't it?
Yeah, I like to go away. So we went. We raced at Swansea quite a few times, and that again isn't a bad pool, but it doesn't over. It's better. No, sorry, Sheffield is better than Swansea, in my opinion. It might be better to other people.
Swansea.
Have you not? No, I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, we might have some Welsh biasy from from Welsh listeners, but
it's a shame there's been such a break so early on. Tonight does feel a bit kind of back-ended. The races later on are really interesting.
Yes, they are. I mean, I've just looked now. It starts at 18:40. That's a good half hour away. Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
Okay.
I've got a fun story for this one. What's been your most embarrassing moment at a meet? Now,
I've got one for you as well. You go first.
I've got two. So one was a 200 backstroke. I miscounted
On a
and,
200 back.
and carried on going. I think I
Yeah.
was like 13, 14 at the time. And then another one was I was like English schools finals gala. And it was one of the last events where lasers were legal.
Oh yeah.
Everyone was getting their hands on them, the big bodysuits, and they were going for like £20 a pop because they were going to be illegal in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got myself one. Obviously, they were selling out really fast, and I got one that was too small for me. I was like, it'd be fine. I've worn suits before that are really small. I put that on, and I was doing a 50 back at the start of our relay team. Went off the start, and the whole zip just bust, just completely all the way down, filled full of water. I was like, oh no.
Well, at least it only cost you like 20 quid rather than 200.
Well, that wasn't a problem. I was just like, I could hit a really good PB here. The time that's never going to get beaten by myself. And then, I couldn't even use it for like the 100 free later on.
Yeah, I think we've all had those sort of instances. I actually, fingers to well, I say touch wood, I'm not going to be racing it anytime soon. But no, I've had no ripped trunks or anything like that. No sort of fully embarrassing moments in that sort of sense. Have you ever slipped off the block when you've dived in?
On a backstroke start, not on a freestyle.
Oh, I've done it on a proper dive. Luckily, not in a race. I've done it in a warm up, which is potentially worse because normally you have like a massive queue behind you, and then of course there's like the sprint lanes, like 2 or 3 lanes on the outside. And I just properly slipped so badly that I've. Oh yeah. So badly that they don't have the ledges on the top of the blocks back then.
Yeah.
So it was a proper slip. The old Millfield blocks. Those white ones.
Your foot's kind of the white blocks. Yeah, I know the ones
that were really slippy and they were dreadful. Slipped in, obviously smashed my shin at the front of the block and just splat straight into the water. That's not even the most embarrassing.
That's not your most embarrassing.
No.
Okay.
What was it? It was at GR1, and I had a really long layoff. I think it was like an injury and then some personal issues, but I hadn't swam for 3 months. And before I did any sort of I came back after the 3 months from zero training whatsoever. Came back into the water, and it was straight into counties.
Okay.
At GR1. I didn't do any individuals. I just did the relay, so I thought I'd help the team out. So I led out and hit a 53 after 3 months out of the water completely, which is not so bad.
Not bad.
Got out of the water immediately because I think we won that race as well. I don't know why, but it felt like everyone was watching us. Everyone was like congratulating, and then I was sick in front of the whole stand in the bin. And it wasn't like one of those quick and it's done. No, I was there for a good 10 minutes because the lactic was so bad. But
everyone has tuned off the live feed.
Yeah. We're not hearing that. That's gross.
Okay, right. One more question before we take a quick break ourselves and get back to the racing. Now, this one's probably more for you because you got to a higher level of swimming. You got into the elite squad at Cardiff. Who was your best training buddy? I mean, my answer is quite simple. It's you, because we, in terms of probably going land training in the gym.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, we've swam with good swimmers. Like the swimming community might not know, but we swam with Jamie Cook, who is top pentathlete,
modern pentathlon. Yep.
In fact, he's a world champion of that now.
Yes.
From Cardiff then. We used to swim with James Brodie at Gloucester, who went off to Loughborough, and I think he came 5th in the London trials, didn't he? I think
fourth, I thought.
Fourth or fifth in the 200 breaststroke. But for me personally, it was probably Ian Lloyd who swam at Cardiff. He was one of the main reasons I went there, because he was British champion for the multiple events actually, but all of the freestyles.
Yeah,
and I basically wanted to
freestyle squad there, and you also trained with Zav, didn't you?
Zav, yeah, but of course he was more of a backstroke IMer. So if we're going off training buddies, I would always train with the freestylers or compare myself to the freestylers. So it was either Ian or Tom Greenfield was also good, but he was more of a sprint-based swimmer.
Okay.
Well, he did IM as well, but he was more 50 and 100 free. So I'd say Ian Lloyd.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We will come back. If anyone has any further questions for us, leave them in the chat section. We will come back at. Do you want to come back at 6:30 and answer those questions as well?
Yeah, 6:30. What's that? 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll have a quick refreshment break, and we will be back at 6:30.
Wonderful. All right, I'll see you then.
See you then. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to
We're back.
Propulsion Swimming's live stream of the Manchester International Swim Meet. Our live reactions with me, Scott, and my co-host Dan. Good to have a break, and we've got several questions that we need to answer in the chat section. I'm really looking forward to some of these as well. So we've got a few. We've got 10 minutes before racing starts again. So if anyone has any further questions, let us know. We are happy to interact with you guys, have a chat, and answer your queries. So first question, how many medals do you think Duncan Scott will win at Tokyo?
Well, we kept talking about how many races he actually going to enter.
Yeah, tough to decide right now.
I mean, we were listing them out, and we think he could possibly enter like 6 or 7 events. I don't think he will, but he could. How many medals is he going to win?
Okay, so let's go through it. I'll start backwards. So there's the mixed relay.
That's an Olympic event now, is it?
I think it is this year.
Is that official?
So he's got a chance if he races in that. I think we've got a chance because we've got Adam Peaty, Freya Anderson, and he will probably go in the butterfly leg, maybe.
Difficult one. I don't know. Tough. Yeah, I don't think he actually gets into that team. He's not our quickest 100 flyer, is he?
No.
But then again, on a mixed relay, you want your men to go first. So you want a backstroke and a breaststroke.
Yeah.
So probably Luke would be more fitting to go into that team. And then Freya would be on the front crawl. And then Fly would probably... hard
to pick right now.
It is hard to pick. I don't think he gets into that team. So I think discount that one.
Okay, so then we've got the men's 4x1. I think there's a medal there.
I think there's a medal there. Yeah.
The men's 4x2.
I think there's a medal there. Yeah.
And the men's 4x1 freestyle rather than medley. Do you think there's a medal there? I think that one's too tough of an ask with the Aussies.
I think that one's just out of reach. Our best swimmers at the moment are all teenagers still, apart from Duncan, of course. I don't think we'll medal in that one. We'll get to the final, but I don't think we'll medal.
So in terms of relays, there's 2 possibilities in the relays, and then the 200 free. I think he's a really good shout for a medal there.
I mean, he might even win it. I don't know. Yeah. Fingers crossed. It'd be nice. Well, I think he medals.
There's a question to get to on that one. And then does he do the 200 IM as well? I think he might do it. I don't think he'll medal at it. So I reckon 3 medals.
3 medals seems about right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. What is your best times?
What are my best times?
we'll just go our top events. We won't list through every event. So if I go through myself right now, I stopped swimming when I was 15, 16 to concentrate on studies. But my best time for 100 freestyle was 56 long course. And then for 50 free was 24 long course, I want to say.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
No, it was a fair few years ago now. I think those were my 2 main events. And then 50 butterfly, I was 28 seconds long course.
Okay. So my best times were, obviously, it's a 200 and 400 free. I went 151 or 152 for 200 free. That was at the Eindhoven meets that I went to. That was my last race, actually. And this was that was in April, actually. April 2014, so just before Commonwealth Trials. And then got wiped out with appendicitis. So I reckon I could have gone faster. Yeah, I could have gone faster. But and then the 400 was 4:01, so I was just shy of breaking
the 4-minute barrier.
No, it was such a shame actually. I didn't want to stop because of that. That was my sole focus in the end. Yeah. But yes, that's the best times.
Okay, so we had a question come in on our Twitter feed as well, which was, what is the best competition you have swam in? Now, my favorite event or the competition I swam in was English Schools Gala. So the school I went to was Sir Thomas Rich's in Gloucester. It's a very small school. Swimming is not, it's sports. It's not like the big private schools of Kelly College, Millfield, Plymouth. But we were in the same district as them, and we always had to race against them for English schools in the relays, and we managed to come 10th in the country.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
And we beat Kelly College. So that was kind of one of my favorite achievements at Ponds Forge. We finished 10th in the country as a little school relay team. I think that was probably my favorite competition.
Your favorite competition? Mine favorite competition for different sort of reasons. I've kind of got two. So my first competition was, I think it was the Daventio meet. It was the very first
That's always a good meet.
the very first Daventio Excel meet that they did. Can't tell you what year it was. I might have been like 13 or 14 at the time.
Yeah.
And it was then that I got my first national time.
Okay.
So of course that's a very good memory.
Yep.
And then I did like that Eindhoven meet that I went to. Some of the best swimmers. Sostrom was there. Cromwell was there.
Fran
House was there. Some of the best swimmers were there. We went with a Welsh team. So Georgia Lowe was there. Gemma Lowe was there. Georgia Davis was there. Obviously all of Cardiff, all of Swansea. That was actually quite a lot of fun. And of course, they were my best times I ever swam. So two different ones there for different reasons.
Okay, and maybe we've got time for two more questions before racing starts. This is a good one.
Okay.
200 free at the Olympics. Who are you calling? Now, I've seen in the comment section someone said Rapsis is the favorite. Now, I have a very, very strong opinion about this. Based on World Championships before and ISL, I have zero faith in him winning a gold medal.
Do you reckon? Because
he is the fastest swimmer in the world at 200 freestyle right now by quite some way, 200 and 400 freestyle. But when it comes to racing, I have no idea what happens. He just doesn't seem to win when he should.
Well, mind you, remember short courses are a lot different to long course.
I think at 2019 Worlds, he was the same though. Or was it? It's Europeans or something like that. He was favourite to go in and Duncan Scott beat him.
It's difficult because I remember saying to you actually when we were watching the earlier rounds of the ISL, and I said that Rapsis he's going to be winning, or he is favourite to win the 2 and 4 free. So I'm going to try and stick by that. Although Tommy Haas is pretty strong, I do think Townley Haas. Sorry, yes, yeah.
The Aussies, the Americans always have a very strong 200 freestyler.
Oh yes, yeah, and I do think Duncan Scott. I think he might just make it. I don't know.
Right up there, isn't he?
He really is right up there. So I'd like to say Duncan Scott as my final answer.
Your final answer. Okay,
but I think it's going to be Drapsis. I do think he will pull through.
Okay, I will go with Townley Haas based on the lack of disruption to swimming over in America. Yes, they have been going strong all the way through COVID. They've not really, I don't know, paid attention to COVID as much as they should have. Most of the sports are still going on. I think he was impressive in that final of the 200 free at ISL. And the Americans always bring good form to the Olympics, always, without fail.
They do the cycles correctly, basically. Obviously, Olympics is the biggest thing in swimming. And they kind of ignore the Worlds before the Olympics. Yeah. But not the very best. I mean, you look at Phelps, Loxley, and Dressel; they just perform every single time. But the other swimmers, they seem to concentrate on Olympics. They train through Worlds just for that Olympic glory, which probably is the way it should be done, really. So, yeah.
Okay, 2 minutes till racing. We got one final question. Do you all swim? Do you swim, Dan?
Well, not at the moment, no. But,
no one does right now, unfortunately.
But normally, yes, yeah.
Yeah, we try and get in the pool, 2-3 times a week. We have stopped swimming competitively. I think on the horizon for us is the Great North Swim.
Yes, definitely.
I am about to get my entry in for that, probably to do the 5K. And then, I think training, we've got some very good open water facilities near where I live. So hopefully get into open water swimming a little bit more through the next kind of year is something that I'm really looking into.
Well, I mean, it's got to warm up first. It is absolutely freezing outside. I won't be getting anywhere near a lake as of right now. I can still see snow on the floor in some parts of like the car park. But when it starts to warm up, yes. Well, I think getting in the lakes I think it's cheaper than actually going to a regular public
pool.
So
where I go in South Cerney, I think it is a whole year's pass for £80. If I'm right, that's really good.
That's pretty good. I mean, considering you have to pay £4, something like that, just for one swim,
public swim.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's memberships that you can all get, but roughly speaking, it's £4 per swim. So if you can get £80 for, is it a year or for the season?
It's from April till March next year. So
Oh,
if you
so
want,
it's-
if you want to train through winter, feel free to. But I probably won't.
I don't think so. I don't think that's clever at all. All right. So what is our first race back then?
So we are back to the para swimmers,
Yes.
the one which we got slightly ahead of ourselves in
Oh,
the
that's right.
men's 100-meter backstroke.
That's right. That's right. We were left there, weren't we? Because I literally finished telling you all about the race, and now I'm gonna have to do it all over again.
Well, we could just tell people to rewind on the live stream, but why not get some practice in? Go again.
No, we'll do it again. We'll do it again. So we've got an S9 and Jacob Leach, and we've got two S14s, which is where the race is going. Well, I think the race is going to be across the pool, actually.
Okay.
Jordan Catchpole is the British record holder for this race in a time of 1:01.7. He went 65 earlier, and actually Rhys Davis went quicker than him this morning.
Okay.
So I think we've got a bit of a race on our hands, which would be
good to see. It's been a very slow
excited.
start to this evening session. I do apologize for anyone watching the live stream. It does get very interesting later on. There are some really good races coming up later on this evening. It just happened to loaded this session. There weren't so many entries. It's just the way it is with a meet where there are barely any swimmers kind of racing right now or training right now.
Yeah, it's a shame. There were really good finals yesterday. I mean, I think the highlight of the whole meet was yesterday's finals, and I do think it will pick up, but this session so far has been quite, like you say, slow, lethargic. So hopefully this race will start to G me up a little bit. I think I'm quite excited about this race. This race will be close, I feel.
Okay. And are you picking Jordan Catchpole for this one? Or is it hard to tell going off this morning's form?
I would still go for Jordan. I think he was holding back a little bit this morning.
He raced a lot.
He has raced a lot. And for Rhys to go at 63, and it's a low 63 as well, that only makes him just over a second off that British record. So they're both kind of contesting it right now. Will they get it? Not quite sure. I think they might just be off it. But it's all about the race here. I'm kind of ignoring the time. I just want to see who wins, who gets their hand on the wall first.
You're expecting a competitive race rather than looking at the clock, which going off the live stream. Oh, we do have a clock. No, the clock's broken.
Oh, 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours. Yep.
50. What is going on?
I know. It's terrible, isn't it?
It's a big shame.
Awesome start from Jordan Catchpole there.
There you go. He's laying down a marker after this morning, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. He's got a very nice backstroke. It doesn't surprise me that he's the British record holder here. But actually, it's Rhys who's coming through. It's whether he can keep up this pace for the last 50 meters or so. But if Jordan has very good underwater like he did at the very beginning, then he's going to slot himself further into the lead. Okay, pretty good turn.
The underwater phase does make a lot of a difference, doesn't it?
Well, we talk about it all the time for backstroke. I mean, in every race, you're allowed to go 15 meters underwater, but it's so effective on backstroke. And you have to do that in training if you want to have a better backstroke. Oh, still coming through.
He is. He's doing well here. This is a strong race, especially from this morning's times.
Yeah. What's the time?
On a 1:01.86. How close is that to the British record?
Well, the record is 61.71, so he's very slightly off.
Very close.
Very slightly off. Rhys went slightly quicker than this morning. That may be a PB for him. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. But and Jacob Leach also went 2 seconds quicker. So overall, fantastic race, and that is a very close to his record. If you can get anywhere near your PB at this part of the season, you're doing very well.
Well, he's definitely been probably one of the form swimmers through this whole meet to keep an eye on, especially for Tokyo coming up.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's already broken one British record earlier in the meet. Nearly had another one then. So I still stand by. He has been the top swimmer of the meets, I would say. Him and Abby Wood so far.
I think Jimmy Guy could put himself up there later on in the 200 free if he has another performance like his 200 fly last night.
Yeah, quite possibly, yes. I mean, that 200 fly took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that.
I think it took everyone by surprise. I thought he went off so fast that he was going to die off, and then he just kept going and going.
Well, I mean, his dad was tweeting us at one stage, wasn't he, last night, saying that he doesn't train for that race at all. So obviously,
how does he not train for a 200 fly and do that sort of time?
It's just his aerobic capacity. It must be his endurance, his stamina, or his will to win. I've no idea. It must be a combination of all of them.
Good fly technique as well.
Yes, yeah, he does. He does hold good technique, which is
Mm.
probably the reason why he, in the relays for the 4x1 when he was competing against Phelps and Dressel,
Held
the
his
fact
own.
that held his own, yeah, definitely. I mean, especially Dressel, his PB is obviously much quicker than everyone else in the world, but he's able to stay within half a body length, give or take.
Yeah, I mean, you rate him as probably GB's best relay swimmer, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Well, him and Duncan Scott, they both have that same sort of fire in them to not lose. They're sort of born winners, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, so the next race in the pool is the women's 50 breaststroke. This is a very interesting race. I think this one's going to be super close because we have the current British record holder in Imogen Clark in the water. Sarah Vasey has been looking rapid so far this meet.
She has.
And then you have one of the standout breaststrokers of British swimming, Molly Renshaw, who set a PB this morning. I mean, it's very close all over the pool here.
It is very close. I mean, Kayla's pretty good down in lane 6 as well. Katie Matz is not to be, ignored. I do think the race will be in the middle 3 lanes. I think 50 meters is a bit too short for Molly Renshaw.
Yes,
she is definitely more suited to the 200 and the 100 as well.
I mean, Imogen Clark and Sarah Vasey have very close PBs. They're both low 30s.
They're very, very powerful breaststrokers. If you were to imagine, obviously, PT swimming the breaststroke, he is a much more powerful than anyone else in the water. And if you have a look at their techniques, Imogen and Sarah's, they are a lot stronger in the water than everyone else.
I think Imogen Clark has a really fun Instagram feed. If anyone's interested in watching it, she does a lot of kind of dry land training and puts it up on there. If I'm remembering correctly.
I think it is Imogen Clark, yeah. And she's, I think, she did, like the clap press ups.
Yeah.
But she's able to do a press up and then lift her whole body off the floor. That's how much power, how much spring she's got in her body. And that's the reason why it shows in the pool. She's so strong, lifting herself up, driving herself forward.
And that is why she's the British record holder.
Yeah, I mean, based off that, I will probably go with Imogen Clark.
Although Sarah Vasey has been looking fast. She's been looking really fast.
She has. I mean, what did she go? 68 or 67? I think it might have been 68 in the 100 breaststroke. So she can hold that pace, hold that stroke rate. It's all about the timing on breaststroke. If you can hold that streamline, I mean, there's not much streamline to be done over 50 meters. You do need that stroke rate. As soon as you extend your arms, begin that outwards out sweep. So do expect this to be fast and furious, but lanes 4 and 5 is where we need to be watching here.
Yeah, I would say it is between those two as a straight shootout.
Yeah.
I think if Molly Renshaw PBs, then brilliant, but it doesn't look like she's had the best of starts.
Slightly slow off the block.
Yeah. Imogen Clark was rapid off the blocks.
But if you can see, so they're all quite powerful, but it's the yellow lanes who are they're stronger. They get their hips slightly higher. They drive their hands forward a lot quicker. But if you look at Imogen Clark, her stroke rate is so much higher than the rest of the pool. Very similar to Adam Peacy. His stroke rate just goes through.
I think Sarah Vasey might have this.
Is it going to be? It's going to be a blanket finish, and then whoever spots the stroke, basically the same time.
By 0.04. You can't get much closer than that, can you?
Not really.
Blimey. That was a very good race.
It was. A PB for Molly Renshaw there as well.
Yeah,
everyone's gone quicker. Kayla was slightly slower than this morning, but generally everyone was quicker. Molly Renshaw's had a very good meet, hasn't she?
New PB, you can't ask for much more, especially in a 50 when she is predominantly a 200 swimmer. We thought the 100 was too short for her yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's just taken over British female breaststroke, hasn't she? Which is great. Absolutely amazing. I think our women's medley team might be looking quite strong now.
Yes. I think kind of Abby Wood as well. It slots into that relay team. She could do the 100 free at the end. Oh, no, because you got Freya.
No, you got Freya. Freya goes there.
Good shout.
Molly would be on the breaststroke, and then...
But you could potentially rest Freya in the heats.
Potentially, but because again...
I would say Abby Wood is going to Tokyo, so why not give her a chance in those heats relay swims? Because maybe she'll get a medal if they win.
I mean, it all depends on selection policy, how many swimmers you can take, and all that sort of palaver. So it does depend. But I don't think we've got any chance against America. I don't think any country's got any chance against America for the medley relay.
The Aussies are looking good, but I can't think of a breaststroke off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, if you go through the American team, they've got the world record backstroker, they've got the world record breaststroker, and then they've got a choice on butterfly, where it's Dahlia, or who else was it? Bisa Nelson.
Yep.
And then they finish off with Simone Manuel. I just don't think that team's
That's
not
gonna
really
beat him, is it?
getting beating.
Okay, so we're back onto the men's racing now in the 200 meters breaststroke. This is again a very empty field, but there is some high class swimmers in this.
Yeah, I was saying on the live feed on the Twitter feed or the live tweets that watch out for Kyle Booth, and he
Went as the slowest time.
Yeah, it not disappointed me as such, but he looked like he was cruising. So I expect him to go a little bit quicker in this.
So this
final.
morning he went 2:22 and his PB is 2:12. So he's way off that sort of pace.
Yes, yeah. So even though he's on an outside lane, and even though he's gone, I mean, he's 2 seconds slower than David Murphy, and then I mean, we can forget about James Wilby. I think he will be leading this race from the get go. But then he was 6 seconds slower than Gregory Butler. I do think he's going to be a bit more competitive. He will be in line with everyone for this race. I think he was saving his energy.
It's interesting. If James Wilby can get anywhere near to his PB, which is a 2:07, I'm not saying at this meet, but come Tokyo, if he gets close to 2:07, that puts him right up there with the medals.
I mean,
the fastest times in the world right now are 2:06, 2:07.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say 2:07 wins it. Wins that Olympic medal, probably. I would say so. I mean, when was the last time anyone went 2:06 for 200 breaststroke?
The Japanese Open has just happened, and there were some pretty rapid times out there.
Oh yeah, what was his name?
Is it Wanatobi or
Yeah, I can't remember how you say it exactly, but yeah, that's very true. He did go 2:06.
Yeah, there's been some really rapid times over there.
But I think maybe this is the PT effect again. It's just having an effect. He's basically changed the stroke. It's
well, you say that 200 is very different.
It is, but then again, we spoke to Marco Koch, and he basically trains every different type of breaststroke, the way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he does nice long breaststroke. He also practices the 50 sort of speed where there's no gliding. It's just
even he admitted that he hasn't quite figured out how PT's doing this really fast 100-meter swimming. He's very much into that longer glide, and it's very hard to get that stroke right for the 100.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to look at PT. He's just a monster. The size of his chest, his shoulders, his lats. He is a bit of
Happy Valentine's Day to you, too, Dan.
Yeah, thanks very much. Oh Christ, it's Valentine's Day. Oh yeah. Oh dear.
But, okay, so we're expecting James Wilby to take this out, and then maybe a fight for second.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah. What's James Wilby's PB? What's he gone? 2:07?
2:07.
2:07. I don't think he's going to go that. If he can go around 2:10, 2:11, that's a pretty good return.
2:10's the time that Michael Cox hit him right now, and he's a very respectable breaststroker. So
yes.
Anywhere around there is kind of the right ballpark.
Yes, I would say so. And then I think it'll be. I'm just going to be watching Kyle Booth here because I'm kind of expecting better things. I do hope he does a bit better this evening.
Was he in the squad at Cardiff when you were there?
No.
Okay.
I think he must have been in the lower groups.
Because he's 20 and you're how old?
Oh, crike, 28 now. So 8 years.
Okay, yeah. So he definitely wasn't there when you were there.
No, he would have been in the age group sort of areas.
Now, David Murphy has taken this out very strong. I wonder if he's going for 100 time.
Quite possibly. This is what PT did earlier. What's he turned in there? 28. Is that 28.2?
28.2. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty fast going for a 200 breaststroke, isn't it?
It's you can spot the difference straight away between a 100 pace and a 200 pace.
Well,
when you look at James Wilby below him.
Yeah.
It's kind of cruising speed, and the stroke rate here is rapid, but James Wilby's coming back on him quite strong.
Well, unless he's Wilby's now using him as a pacemaker.
That's probably really good for him.
Which is good for him. Is he going for
he's
going for 100 time. Yeah. That works out really well for James Wilby now.
He went 1:01.5.
Who did? David Murphy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching on the phone, so I can barely see the times. But that works really well for James Wilby.
It has. That's paced in for the first 100, and now it is pick up, go again.
Yeah, I mean we're hopefully looking for a good time here. He might be on
Mm.
track for a 2:09, 2:10, which is exactly what we're after. And Carl
And
Booth
again,
is swimming better this evening. That's good.
he is, but he's slightly off the pace. He has a PB 3 seconds faster than Gregory Butler. So
Yeah. I mean, I can't explain that. They must be going through hard training in Cardiff
Yeah.
right now. I don't know. Because I know Chloe Tusson was swimming. I think she just swam one race and then pulled out the rest of the meet.
right. So yeah.
But at the same time, Harriet Jones was swimming very well. So obviously different for different people.
Yes.
But let's see what's
the stroke rate's increasing now, last 15 meters.
Yeah, so you see that the glide has gone much slower. What time is this?
2:10.8.
2:10, there you go.
Exactly what we said. That's a very respectable time this time of year.
Well, he's going the same time as a former world champion, so...
Yeah, and Gregory Butler has almost equaled his PB there.
Has he? Blimey.
Almost.
I'll tell you what, us Brits do breaststroke very well, don't we?
We do.
Apart from me and you, we can't do breaststroke.
I can't do breaststroke to save my life. And there was me interviewing Marco Koch, the world's best.
Yeah.
It's like, could you explain to me? He's a really nice guy, and it was really great to chat with him. And if anyone hasn't listened to that podcast, please do. It's on our YouTube channel, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the lot. He does give some really good breaststroke advice for youngsters.
He does. He gave a lot of good tips.
Yeah, so it's all of he basically said, don't train one good breaststroke stroke. You need to be really adaptable, because one day it might feel great, the other day you might feel that a narrower kick is making you stronger. And during ISL, he actually tore his groin.
He did, yeah.
So he had to really adapt his stroke. And you look at the times that he did during ISL, he didn't drop off at all, even though he had to change his stroke up massively. But that's because he trains not just one perfect style of breaststroke. He trains several different styles of breaststroke.
I mean, if you looked at the James Wilby race just then, he had a nice long glide for the first 100 and then effectively changed his stroke for the second 100. So if you're able to train both types of breaststrokes, with the one with the long glide and the one with no glide, effectively, no high stroke rate, then that's only going to benefit you, especially for a 200 swimmer. But for a 50, you're just going as fast as you can. Yeah, strength. Yeah, strength. Press ups, go, pull ups.
Okay, so we have another great race on next, and it's one that you were really looking forward to.
Yes, I'm looking for this head to head. There's going to be, in the two yellow lanes, you've got Anna Hopkin and you've got Marie Wattle. Wattle? Do we say Wattle right? Wattle?
I have no idea. I don't speak French. I got an E at GCSE French.
Whoa, dear me. Did you fail to say bonjour or something? Dear.
The speaking exam, I just sat there and was just like, what?
Yeah, I did German, so that we have no Germans here. So, well, then again, Felix is Austrian. He speaks probably a bit of German. But
anyway, the next race is the 100 meters freestyle. Before we get too sidetracked by who did worse at GCSEs.
Yes. As I was saying, there's a head-to-head in the middle lanes in Anna and Marie. They both went pretty much the same sort of time, 54.9 for Anna and then 55.1 for Marie. I suspect they're both going to go quicker, actually.
Yeah, I would have thought so too.
Still around the 54 mid to 54 high, I would say.
And then around the pool as well, earlier on this morning, there were a few PB sets. So Harriet Rogers, 17-year-old, she set a new PB. She went 57.5. And then Mia Slevin in lane 8 also set a new PB in 57.7. So there's a lot of form coming into this race. There's a lot of fast swimmers.
There is, and that's exactly what you want. And it's, for this meet especially, it's very, very rare to have all 8 swimmers in the pool at the same time.
Yeah.
So it makes a bit more of a spectacle for us. So I think it might just be like one of those perfect spearheads.
You reckon?
I think so, possibly.
Looking at the personal best, I would probably agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as though Harriet Rogers and Mia have just hit PBs and they're on the outside, I wouldn't have thought they might better it very, very slightly, or they're going to be slightly slower. But I mean, fingers crossed, they all get PBs. That would be nice. But
thankfully, we have a full pool. Finally.
Yes, finally. Is it been the first time this session?
First or second, something like that.
Yeah. Right. But my eyes are going to be in the middle of the lanes.
Yeah.
Anna Hopkins got a very nice straight arm front crawl, which is usually better for the 50.
Are you expecting her to take it out hard to start with, or both of these are pretty good 50 swimmers, aren't they?
They are. I would have thought they'd be taken out hard, yeah.
Both hard.
And then
Yeah.
holding on to 2, no idea. Coin flip it for me. I'm going to go for Anna Hopkin just because she might have a little bit more. Oh, they both did ISL actually. I was about to say she's got a bit more experience and not
No, I think
experience.
they're both about the same here. And Louise Hansen also is a very respectable freestyle swimmer, but I think she's already raced today. So she might have a little bit taken out of her already. As you can see in the first 50, she's a little bit behind.
A little bit, yes, but she's more of a flyer potentially. But
there you go. There's the difference of a turn. Maria Wattle straight ahead. They were almost level going into that turn, and now she's half a body length and pulling away.
Yeah, she is actually. She's doing
Definitely
really well.
Pulling away.
But it's interesting to see different kind of techniques. So Marie Wattle's got a bit more of a high elbow recovery, and you've got Anna Hopkin who's got the more straight arm. But this race was won and lost on that turn.
Yeah, it was. She definitely kicked on from that point, and 53.4 is not bad going.
53.4. Ooh, that's good.
That is not bad at all.
Not sure what her PB is. Well, if her PB for 50 is 25.5, can't be too far away from that PB. Very good swim. I'm really impressed with that turn, like you said, which just shows you how important turns are, or the technical side of swimming is.
We have some PBs all over this, actually, looking at times. Harriet Rogers set another great PB.
Yeah, she did. Look at that, 56.
Mia Slevin set another great PB as well.
Harriet Rogers has nearly just gone a second quicker than her PB.
She has gone a second quicker in the space of a day.
Wow. I mean, that's a source of performance you want. That's
very impressive.
I mean, that's up there with the Abby Woods 203 from yesterday, dropping a second.
It's obviously going to go under a radar. Yes, she hasn't won, but a 17-year-old drop in a second over 100 meters freestyle from her PB. Wow, you can't ask for much more.
No, those are the sort of swims that needs to be celebrated more. There's so much focus on whoever finishes first, second, maybe even third, but it's the ones who are finishing fourth and fifth that should be noticed as well, given credit for their swims, because having a second, is something.
I mean, that was kind of our ethos as Propulsion Swimming was let's basically give more publicity to every part of British swimming, whether you finish first, eighth, or if you're just a casual swimmer doing some amazing charity swims, come to us. We will put it everywhere. We're happy to put it everywhere.
Yes, we obviously we're now supporting the elite side of swimming, but we do want to cater to everyone. I mean, this is like less than 1% of people swimming in the UK or the world, you know?
Yeah.
Mass participation is all about getting people involved in swimming, whether that's triathlons or just general, kind of like what you do 2 or 3 times a week, just get involved and keep healthy.
Keep going.
And charity swims, obviously, people raising awareness for different causes is obviously always something we're going to be pushing as well. Well, we're on to the para swimmers again.
We are. Come on, then. This is your specialty.
Now, I'm really excited about this one, actually, because in lane 4, Zara Maluli, I don't want to butcher that name.
Good effort.
Am I right with Maluli? I think I might be right with that.
Yeah.
She's a British record holder, and she was extremely close to it. So the British record, her record is 101.2.
Right.
This morning she went 102. She went 102.6 this morning. And there's also another British record holder in Hannah Russell. Her record is 58.9, which is absolutely incredible. Incredible swim. She went 63, so she's a little bit off it. What's that? 5 seconds off. And then, of course, you've got Ellie Chalice, who has to be up there with one of the best swimmers this meet as well. She races later in the 200. Does she race later? No, she doesn't. She hits. Oh, no, sorry. No, it was this race. It was this race, sorry. She hit a massive new British record. So the record before this morning for 100 meters
15 years, haven't it?
Was 2:18. She went 1:59. It's a monster record. I mean, it's just completely unheard of. So she's obviously the first S3 swimmer to
under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes, which is obviously a massive feat.
A British swimmer. It wasn't a world record.
Oh no, British. Yeah, did I say world record? Sorry, British record. So the first Brit under 2 minutes. Yeah. So basically, this is not really about the racing. It's all about the times.
Contrary to what we've been saying elsewhere.
Yes, I know, yeah. Although Zara and Hannah are going to be very close based on their entry, their swims from this morning.
So they've got someone to race against, which should hopefully push them onto new records.
Yes, yeah. So It would be really good. So basically, I mean, I think Hannah is the fastest swimmer in the water. So if Zara can keep up with Hannah, we're looking at a new British record here.
It does look like she's sitting on her hip right now.
Yeah, which is exactly what she needs to do. Breathing every, was that 4 or 6, something like that? She's going to breathe every 4 on the way back, I would have thought. But of course, this is the same sort of thing because now we don't see Ellie Chalice on the screen, do we? But actually, she's probably the best performer in the pool right now. So we need to celebrate her achievement as well.
She's on the screen.
Yeah, good. Here we go, and Zara's coming through.
Oh, what a turn!
Awesome swim. So Hannah's looking a little bit off form at the moment, isn't she?
Well, she's coming back a little bit now, but yeah, like we've said with most of these events, it's they're training.
Yeah, I would have thought they're training, and I think fatigue is now kicking in. I don't know if any of you listeners listening in have been to a competition, a 3-day competition. It wipes you out. It really does wipe you out. What was record? Just outside it. 61.2 is the record for Zara, so she's just outside it. I had really high hopes that she might get it there, but we still might
along to it.
Yeah, yeah. We still might get a British record, mind you. We've got to wait for Ellie Chalice to finish.
Yeah.
So what was her time this morning? 1:59.57. And that was a good swim. 1:59.57.
Sorry, what did she go this morning? Right.
1:59.57. Sorry, we're having internet connection problems here.
You broke up slightly.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Coming into the last 5 meters now. She keeps her head down really well, so I hope she doesn't breathe now. Again, it would be helpful if we had the clock in the corner. That
it really would be.
It would be helpful to us.
1:55.
1:50.
Wow.
1:55.3. So she's just knocked off another 3 seconds.
That's stunning. Oh my god.
That is incredible. So just think that record this morning was 2:18. It's now suddenly 1:55. What a swim.
I think she is a huge star for the future. How old is she? She's only 17.
17.
Yeah. Definitely a name to keep your eye on.
Well, I mean, I was saying earlier that Jordan Catchpole was the swimmer of the meet. I mean, it might have to change now because Ellie Chalice has just blown that record out of the water twice. Absolutely awesome swim.
That's a good day's racing, that is.
I know it is, isn't it? Leah O'Connell did almost exactly the same, 0.3 slower. Still a very good swim, though. Very young field. It's only Hannah who's 25. The rest of them are teenagers.
That's good. Good to see.
Long time in a sport, hopefully. Hopefully, if they stay motivated, get the funding, of course, then we've got a long future with these swimmers, which is perfect. I mean, Ellie Chalice might be contesting for Paralympic medals.
Yeah.
Based off that, which would be great.
Okay. Next event, your favorite event. 200 meters freestyle, and this, I think, I would pay attention. I think this is going to be one hell of a race.
Where do we start with this one?
Where do we start? Okay, so we go 1 to 8. We will go through this.
Let's just go through it. Go on in.
Okay, lane 1, Jacob Whittle, 17-year-old, who is by far and away one of the most impressive 17-year-olds I have ever seen swim freestyle. He's got all sorts of records at the 100 meters freestyle, and he set a new PB this morning in a 1:51.8 in the 200, and it's not his main event, is it?
No, he is, I would say, an out-and-out sprinter, so the 50 and the 100. I think we said it yesterday that he is the fastest 14-year-old ever
for the 100.
For the 100, I think he went like sub 50 when he was like, or no, I think he went 50 points when he was 14, which is outrageous.
Okay,
completely outrageous. But
lane 2, we've got James Guy.
Yeah, so as you can see,
think we need to say too much about James Guy. He is by far and away on paper the fastest name in this field. Second fastest Brit currently swimming.
Yeah.
If he goes to form, he should win this. His personal best is a 1:45, which is not slow at all.
No, that's the time he won the world championship in, I believe.
Yeah.
So he should be winning, whether he does or not. I mean, that's the reason why he's in lane 2 is because he did slow down a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. Joe Litchfield, I just want to say, watch his start.
Yeah,
just watch his start.
Watch his start. The work he does with Dave Hemmings. If you don't follow Dave on Instagram, Twitter, check him out. He does some amazing coverage and kind of little clips of the work they do on the technical side.
Yeah.
Then in lane 4, we've got Tom Dean, who we all know what he did at ISL, and he's got a really good PB as well of 1:46. So I really think he could give James Guy a run for his money.
He could do, and maybe it was a good tactic from Jimmy Guy to try and get in an outside lane so he can swim his
Not
own
next,
race
yeah.
and not next to Tom Dean. Maybe that was part of the tactics. Who knows? But Tom Dean is up there for a potential win here.
Yeah, and then we've got Felix Obeck in the next lane, and he's been in some cracking form for this meet, and I think he's also up there.
Well, he's one to watch out for our question we had about who wins the 200 free at Olympics. He's in with a shout there as well. He's going to be in and around that top 3.
I think the 400 is more of his event.
Yeah, I would say so as well. But
I think if you can swim a good 400 free, your 200 free is usually pretty good as well.
Usually, yeah, they kind of intertwine a little bit. Matt Richards is, again, very similar to Jacob Whittle, more of a 50-100 swimmer. But
he's got a PB of 147. That's not bad.
I know, that's very good.
Fourth swimmer for the 4x2.
Yes, I know. Harry Constantine is actually a swimmer on form, so don't count him out. And then we've got the Greek on the outside, Vizeos.
Yeah, who is mainly he's an IM specialist as well, isn't he?
He is, yes. He gave Duncan Scott a good run for his money in the ISL, didn't he?
Here we go. See Tom Dean taking it out hard. He knows he's got the back end speed.
Yes, very true.
He's very good at mixing up his tactics as well, because through the whole of ISL, he was playing about with how he's racing.
Yeah, I think actually he almost had a better start than Joe Litchfield. So obviously that was the tactic, to stay with Joe on the first length and then take over. He's got a very nice stroke, Tom Dean. And this is where we might just see the two of them take off now. Tom Dean will lead the way. I think Jimmy Guy will be following him. But of course, Jimmy he breathes to the left, which doesn't help on the way back. So I don't know if that's going to be a bit of an issue for him.
It does look like the race is at the top of the pool, though. Although Felix Obeck, as we said, he's a 400 swimmer. He swam the 1500 as well.
Yep.
So he's definitely got that back end speed. He will be coming through in that last 50.
He will, but I do think Joe Litchfield has put himself in front as well there. I think those three have guaranteed the top 3 now places.
Jimmy looks like he's going.
Yeah, well, he breathes to the left, you see. You can see Tom Dean, so he made his move on the third 50, which is what you should do. As if anyone listening who's a 200 free specialist, you want to try and
turn from Joe Litchfield. Oh my!
Wow, that was good, wasn't it? And he's put himself right up there.
He has. I didn't know he could do a 200 free this well.
No, nor did I. And look at this. Felix is coming through like an absolute racehorse.
Yeah. James Guy looks like he's rocking and rolling a little bit. Tom Dean.
Oh my! Who's going to get the touch here?
Guy just gets it.
Wow, what a race!
47s all round.
Now, if that doesn't bode well for our 4x2 relay, I don't know what does.
I had no idea Joe Litchfield could do that.
Nor me until this morning. Because what did he go this morning? He went 149 this morning, which I thought was impressive. He's just gone 147. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. But of course, he got to that position because of the last turn. That momentum he gained from that last turn and into that breakout stroke. That's the reason why he's not classed as a freestyler, but he's just shown that he can compete with Tom Dean and Jimmy Guy, who are predominantly freestylers.
Yeah, they are.
Awesome.
I think this is the Dave Hemmings effect again. It's like Abbey Wood yesterday, completely out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know. That's very good. Harry Constantine, 151.5. What did he go this morning? 151.6, so slightly quicker. Matt Richards a little bit out of shape there with 152.
I think he's definitely concentrating on the 100 and the 50.
Yes, yeah, I'd say so as well. I mean, if his PBs, what did you say his PB was? 147? 147. I mean, that's in with a shout of getting onto that relay. So
if he gets near it, yeah.
It's a difficult one. I mean, there's two very different types of training to do a 50 and a 200. It's very different. So you kind of do have to pick one or the other. And it looks like he's going for the sprinting route, which is fine. We need a sprinter.
Yep. Take someone alongside Ben Proud. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no power swimmers for the 200 free, is there? Or is there?
There is.
Oh, my screen's not loading here. That's not helpful.
Jordan Catchpole is back in the water.
He is back in the water. I don't think he holds the record for this. Do you want to know what the record is for an S14?
For a 200 free. Go on.
For a 200 free. 152.9.
Well, that's beating me.
That's nearly the time I went. That's incredible.
Is that the British record?
That's the British record. Yeah, I didn't look at world records or anything like that. I just looked at British. Wow. But I haven't got a screen here, so you might have to take over here. Who is swimming in this race? I don't know why.
You haven't got a screen. So we've got Dylan Broom in lane 4, who is an S14.
Yep.
And then you've got Jordan as well, who's in S14. So hopefully we've got a close race.
What was I going to say? What were their times? I've got their times up from earlier.
So Dylan this morning went a 2:05.8 and Jordan went a 2:09 flat.
Okay. So Jordan's entry time was 1:56 and Dylan's was...
going off his races this morning, it did look like he was kind of saving himself back slightly.
Yeah, I mean, they've done so many races. I mean, when was the Jordan catch pole was just in the water literally moments ago. So, I mean, it's great for, they can use this as training, I suppose. Just like a lactate tolerance session. That's effectively what it is. They might as well treat it like that.
Yeah, basically.
But this will be his last race, won't it? This is the last male para swim. Yes. Well, it's the last male
only
race.
the 200 IM after this.
Yeah. So he's had a very good meet. And I'm kind of glad these two are going head to head. They've got very similar entry times.
Mm-hmm.
So Dylan's entry time was 1:55 and Jordan's was 1:56. So very, very similar. I mean, actually, it's split by 0.5.
Yeah.
So if they can go anywhere near those times, that would be wonderful. But anywhere breaking 2 would be the aim here, I'd say.
Yep.
Holding technique, do the processes right, do the technique of the underwaters, doing a nice fast start. Think about the streamlines. Do all the basics right. If the basics are correct, then usually it all slots into place.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe the screen's not working for me. That's such a pain.
I think your internet might be struggling slightly tonight. You're breaking up here and there.
Oh, that's not handy, is it?
No.
We should have all of the Wi-Fi on this laptop, but oh well, we'll see.
New place. This is what happens.
I know. Wow. All right, so we're off then. Team Waverley. Where's Team Waverley? Do you know where that is?
Unfortunately not.
No, I don't know that either.
Your fluorescent cup.
My Barcelona cup.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as we are kind of, there's 2 more events after this. So if anyone has any comments for us on our live streams over the past 3 days, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat section. We will stay online slightly after the swimming and kind of talk between ourselves about how we thought it went. We want to know whether this is a format that you guys would like to see us carry on with in the future, whether it's for British champs, whether it's for the Olympics, that sort of thing. If there's any future meets like this international meet, we want to know whether this is something that our subscribers, our viewers on YouTube would like us to do again, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we will always be doing the live tweets like I did this morning. Obviously, we're doing this live stream now, so we're not doing any tweeting. We'll do some tweets in the breaks and maybe after as well to congratulate swimmers like Eddie Chalice and Jordan Catchpole and everyone, basically. We want to credit everyone. But yes, we want to see if this is the correct sort of formats to give coverage of these open meets.
Yeah, and I understand it's probably not quite the same as we don't have the stream of the swimming ourselves on this live stream. I think we'd love to kind of explore if that is a possibility with British swimming, if we can do that for you guys.
Yeah.
If we can, brilliant. We will probably do this again.
I mean, it has been good fun, actually. This is the first time we've ever been live, isn't it? Over the course of this weekend.
There's not been too many mistakes.
No, I mean, there have been some, obviously. I mean, you can't get everything right. I mean, you watch the football or the rugby and the commentators get stuff wrong anyway.
I mean, they're professionals, but I do have a newfound respect for the work that those guys do, because it does take a hell of a lot out of you concentrating for this long.
Oh, it knackers you out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you've got to be very careful with what you say, just in case, you don't want to say any swear words or anything like that. But fantastic swim from Jordan there, 2:02.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really did take the foot off the gas this morning to rest up a little bit, and his swims this evening have been impressive.
Yeah, Dylan's slightly off the pace there. I mean, slightly off the pace, about a second.
It's a long meet, though, isn't it? It's a long meet.
I mean, if you go to any meets, that's a long, like a 3-day meet. That last day, it does kill you, doesn't it? I mean, it's different when you go to the Olympics, because
it's over 10 days, isn't it?
It's I think it's over a week or
8,
something like that. Yeah, something like that. But of course, you only turn up for your race. You don't stay there for the entire time. You're able to go off and do stuff around the place. But for this, it's very full on, isn't it?
Yeah. So before we do get to the last event and before we finish, if anyone's got any comments, leave them in the chat section. We basically really want to know your feedback for this.
Yeah, I mean, we want to improve as much as possible. Obviously, loads of things do need improving. We do waffle on. We do go off subject. We want to concentrate on the swimming, but sometimes
It's nice to have a good chat every now and again about certain other things.
I suppose so. Yeah, I suppose
Keep it raw.
Yeah, keep it raw. Yeah.
We're not professionals. This is just something very different. We don't want to give the same content that's on TV.
No, I mean, they can't give their proper opinions, I don't think, as professionals, whereas we can, which is a big bonus for us.
Okay. So we have one last event, of which there's two finals for it. There's the para final, but first the able body final. And we do have one of the standout British swimmers in the last 12 months, Abby Wood.
Yes, I mean, I can't see it going any other way.
No. I said on Twitter, I thought she might get the British record. Now, I wildly underestimated how fast that British record is.
Yeah, Siobhan is, I mean, I don't know what she's like now form-wise, but she was extremely quick.
She was racing Katinka Hosu, and everyone knows Katinka Hosu's world record in this is bonkers.
Yeah, ridiculous. I mean, the British record is 2:06. Siobhan's record, she's not going to get near that. Let's not look at those records, but she is going to be out there as the clear winner.
I'd like going on Abby's form so far for this meet. I think a good PB. That's what I'd be happy with. If she doesn't PB in this, I'd probably be slightly disappointed if I were
her. Maybe. I mean, what is her PB?
2:11.6.
2:11.6. So she's got to drop by a second than what she did this morning.
Yeah.
Very doable, potentially. I mean, when someone's on form, you think they can do anything. And at the moment, based on her 200 free from yesterday, her 200 breaststroke from, was it the first day, her 200 breaststroke?
Yeah.
She could do it. She could go 2:10. Who knows? It would be nice to see her do that. There's going to be no one to push her on, I don't think. I mean, the rest of the field are about 7 seconds off.
Yeah, their PBs are around the 2:15 mark. So she is going to take it by herself.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting. We spoke to her on the podcast during ISL, and she is one of the up-and-coming. It's taken her a while to break onto the scene. I mean, I think there was a really interesting article written, was it in Swimming World or SwimSwam? One of the two, where they interviewed her and said it's taken her a while. She was a junior star. She was really good at the junior scene, and it's taken her a little bit longer to step up, not just in terms of swimming strength. It was confidence. It was a lot of it was confidence.
Confidence comes into it a lot, actually. And there's a very good episode, actually, on it's called the Honest Athletes podcast with Jazz Carlin and Lauren Quigley. And they talk about the transition from junior to senior. And I reckon that's what Abby was sort of struggling with. So that's a very good listen. Listen to that if you haven't already. But it's obviously a big deal going from junior to senior. I think more so for females as well. They go through a lot more things, but everyone goes through those things. So, but she's taking it hard here. She's going for this. She's going for this 2:10 time, I feel.
And she doesn't have a weak leg in any of this. If anything, I would have said the backstroke's probably one of her weaker legs.
Well, I mean, we were watching her in the ISL, and I seem to think that her breaststroke was the weakest, just because Mel Margalis is a breaststroker, and she used to catch her up, and I just thought, this is Abby's weakest link.
No,
but actually, it's not. There is no weak link. It's a bit like Joe Litchfield. There are no weak links anymore.
No.
Which is brilliant for if she's going to compete with people like Hosu, Ohashi, Margalis at the Olympics. I'm going to assume she goes to the Olympics for the 200 IM.
I mean, looking at her race in the past 2 days, I'm not quite sure what her strongest event is right now. I would have said 400 IM, both of those quite comfortably before we watched this racing. But now 200 breaststroke, she's rapid. 200 freestyle, she's just pushed Freya Anderson all the way. I mean, where do you concentrate on now? Or do you just carry on doing what you're doing?
I would be sticking to the IMs because she's about to hit a monster time here. It's not like a British record or anything, but she is going to go at least 2:10.
2:8.
Yeah, very good.
2:93.
2:93.
So PB'd again by over 2 seconds.
Well, whatever she's eating, I think she can carry on eating that stuff. because it's working very, very well.
How does a 22-year-old PB in the 200 by over 2 seconds? In the 200 free, that's stunning.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's the confidence side of it, because a lot of competitions comes down to mentality. They say, what is it, 90% mental, 10% physical in competitions, and it's the other way around when you're training. Obviously, she's got this confidence, and
From
she's
ISL as well. Yeah,
and she's absolutely flying. 209.
Just seems to have tipped her over the edge. That's
very good. I mean, the other swimmers in that race as well all went quicker, didn't they? As far as I can see,
they've all went quicker this morning.
I mean, there's a lot of racing. I know Freya Colbert's done all sorts of races. I think she did the 800 earlier this morning as well. There must be some tired bodies out there.
Yeah.
And yet they're still going quicker than what they did this morning. So all credit to them. Hats off. You can't do much better, really.
Yeah, I think every time Abby Wood gets in
the
water, I'm continually blown away by how well she's doing. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the next time she races, actually. I just think it's just going to go from one step to the next. It's just.
I want to see her against Margalis again and Ohashi. Get them all in the water again.
I would. I mean, Margalis, she didn't swim the ISL final. I'm not quite sure why, but it would have been interesting if we get them both in the water now. I reckon Abby Wood would really. She might even beat her now. Yeah, but
wow.
Until next time, which will be April now, we won't be seeing Abby again in the pool.
Well, hopefully there's another meet to come. I really hope there's another one in March.
Yeah, what, to get the other than the elite swimmers in?
No, I don't think that's a possibility, because everyone's out of the water. They're talking today about schools only going back in March, so I don't think swimming pools will be open again until probably April. It sounds horrible.
That's such a shame.
I think when this first lockdown happened, I know me and you were planning our YouTube channel. I think that's when we said we thought April would be the target for most other people other than the elite.
Yeah.
So for the elite athletes to have one more meet before trials and then go to the Olympics, I think 3 races before the Olympics is undercooked massively, but that's the best that you can do right now.
I mean, there's no right answer for it. I mean, from an athlete's point of view, you want to race as much as you can to get that experience in before the biggest swim of your life at the Olympics.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've got this virus going around, and
it's the cost of setting up these sort of meets as well.
Yes, and that as well.
I mean, we were speaking to Paul Boy on Twitter, who is probably the best British Twitter account for swimming, and he was slightly stunned at breaking place in London. I think because the cost of hiring that pool is enormous.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't taken it up north to Sheffield or Leeds or somewhere else.
I think there's talk of Glasgow at Tollcross. That's a very good pool for people to go to.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, I think Boris has given a statement very soon, isn't he? Is it tomorrow or next week? This week, yeah. So we'll see what he says. He's given it a review, isn't he? But I mean, I haven't worked now for months. I don't know what's going to be like when I go back. Full-time furlough. Right, we're in our final race of the whole competition, 200 IM. Oh God! So we've got an SM6 swimmer in Maisie and also Ellie Simmons, and we've got three SM6 swimmers, because there's Grace Harvey in lane 3 as well, and then lane 4 is the only SM14 swimmer, which is the reason why she's already taken a massive lead in Louise Fides. Fides? Sorry if I get that name really wrong. Terrible, isn't it? Maisie is the British record holder for this. The time that she sets was 2:57.24. She went 3:02.99 this morning.
Okay.
So hopefully, I mean, a lot of people going faster in the finals tonight.
In every final. 1, I think day 2 and day 3 have gone a bit more to the usual form, haven't they?
The usual form, yeah. And again, I think that's because they haven't raced for so long, and they're all getting used to. I think we said this actually, because there's loads of COVID measures. There has to be a certain amount of time between each race for the cleaning, the sanitizing of the blocks, etc. So obviously, I'm sure some of us were told what's going to happen, but of course,
used to it,
you need to be able to do it. I think doing it is the best way of learning. So I think that was the problem with the first day. But as the meet's gone on, the swimmers have got better. Swimmers got quicker.
Mm.
So yes, but it's been a good meet, I think. How do you think this meet's gone overall? Would you change anything?
I'd probably change one thing, but it's completely out of like swimmers' control. It's just more people in the water. I think that would be the only thing I'd change. Otherwise, I mean, I would change the commentary on the British Swimming feed to us. I think I'd do that.
I mean, that would be nice. I wouldn't say no to that. Obviously, then if that's the case, we'd have to be a little bit more professional than the way we are.
Nah.
But no, I mean, if we had that opportunity, that would be awesome. But
I just think for us to be able to share the feed within us speaking would be good. But in terms of what I'd change about the meet, the break in the middle, as great as it's been for us to have a nice fresh during the middle of a live feed, I think it's been a little bit unnecessary.
I don't think it's for the swimmers. Well, maybe it is for the swimmers actually, because we've been
Some of
talking
them
about
have done a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, a lot of them have had zero rest. I mean, Jordan Catchpole was one. There was another one who literally, another swimmer who, maybe it was Tom Dean or something like that, who did let's say a 400 free, and then literally 5 minutes later was back in the water for a 100 breaststroke, for example. You know, they've had no time to do a swim down. Maybe got in a quick 50 or 100. That's it. So maybe that's what that break was for. But I think the reason for it was for the judges and the officials, because they have to wear masks on a hot poolside, in a chlorinated hot poolside, which is unbearable at the best of times. But I think that's the reason why.
I think maybe I'd like to see, when there's events with very few swimmers in, especially on the para side, if there is gaps in the lanes for the able bodies, if it can all go off as one heat like it is in the heats in the morning.
I think that would be better,
because racing by yourself is impossible.
Oh, it's horrible. I'd never like to be in that situation at all. And we've had a lot of instances with that, actually, which is a bit of a shame.
It's a real shame. I mean, I was looking through the chat, and one person said, why don't you put these events where there's one swimmer doing a 50 fly, another person doing a 50 breaststroke? Why don't you just put them all in together? And I think that'd be really fun to see.
You could do, yeah. I mean, as long as there's a lane gap in between, because I don't know if the waves then affects and stuff. So that's the only issue I would have with that. It's a good idea. Maybe they should trial it. Just get like a lower level competition.
Now's a good chance to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The scoreboards and the graphics are messed up.
Gone all sorts here.
I was going to go through it, but from what I remember, Maisie went 3 seconds quicker than she did this morning, just off her record of 2:57. And I can't even tell you.
There you go. It's come up now.
Oh, it's working now. Good. Grace Harvey 3:01, 6 seconds quicker than this morning. Ellie Simmons also 2 seconds quicker, and Louise was 2:36 this morning, 2:38. So maybe she's feeling a bit of a fatigue as well. Possibly. But overall, I think swimmers would be quite happy with the way they swam this weekend.
Okay, that is the swimming done.
Swimming's
done. Not quite it from us. We have a few comments to go through, and
I haven't got the comments up here.
You haven't?
Okay.
So it would be great if we could do this for British trials. Now, we always plan to cover British trials. If you didn't listen to us at the start of this feed, we booked hotel rooms. We were going to go to British trials. We were speaking to British Swimming about getting media accreditation, so we could take our podcast there. We could take our YouTube channel there. We could hopefully do a behind the scenes vlog. But that looks very, very unlikely to happen. I mean, given the state of Britain right now, it looks like it's going to be a non-spectator meet if it goes ahead. So if we can do a feed like this, I'm more than happy to do this again. I don't think we'd do it for the heats in the morning because I have work. I don't think I can do that. But if it works for the evening sessions, both me and Dana are about, I definitely want to do this again. And we will speak to British Swimming and look into whether we can get their feed on this stream as well.
Yes, I mean, this is something we trialed out doing this live stuff. And like you said, the aim was to always go to British trials, to be there live. But I mean, we don't even know if they're happening just yet. I would have thought based on the success of this meet, I would have thought that it'd be running.
Some sort of racing is happening.
Yeah, I think it would be happening, but it would be very much like this. There'd be no crowd, masks for officials. There'd be breaks in between each race, etc., etc. But I'm very much up for doing a live stream just like this for trials. We aim to do this for Olympics as well, of course. I mean, it'd be nice if we flew to Japan. That'd be nice.
Well, steady on.
But that's very, very, very unlikely.
And then can we do this for the para trials? And the answer would be yes. Of course we can.
Yeah.
We're going to improve our para knowledge over the next few months and weeks. We have plans, like I said at the start, we have plans to speak to para swimmers on our podcast. Hopefully they can educate us, which in turn will then educate our audience. So why not? We're definitely looking into doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same answer as the other one. I mean, para swimmers need to be celebrated just as much as able-bodied swimmers. I've said earlier in the live feed that they're better achievers than able-bodied swimmers. Yeah. So they need to be celebrated just as much as them. So absolutely, we'll be absolutely up for that. When is it? Early April. So yeah, it's about the same sort of time, isn't it?
Yeah. Great stuff. Okay, so that just about rounds up our coverage of the Manchester International Swim Meet. I hope everyone has enjoyed it. If you have, why not subscribe to our YouTube channel? We'll put up more content later on this week. I think we are breaking down the world's best swimmers right now. And then we also have a podcast coming towards the end of the week to look forward to. But from myself, Scott, I will see you again soon. Thank you for everyone who's joined us.
Yes, thank you very much. Please leave your feedback because we do want to improve this as much as possible. Thank you to those who have listened to us throughout the whole weekend, actually. We will be planning to do it again for trials. Fingers crossed it's all on, but I look and based off that, I think it will be. So
yeah, definitely. Yes. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And Propulsion Swimming, look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yes, thank you very much. Cheers.